Hello, Nick Green here from Little River Forge. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the latest blade I've made. It's a Bowie, as you can probably see. It's the third Bowie I've made, and I think probably the eighth knife I've made altogether. When I'm watching lots of YouTube videos and stuff, I kind of want to know what people have for tips and stuff like that. So this isn't in the forge, we're in our art room, because it's freaking snowing outside and it's freezing cold, which is okay when you're forging, obviously, because that warms you up. But on a day like this, I just want to be in with a cup of tea and a hat on. Right, okay, I'm gonna get it started. I made this Bowie for my good friend Chris Barrett, who's a tattoo artist and a good friend of mine. He's also like a Wild West enthusiast nut, and he's got a bar in his garden called the Crazy Horse Saloon, and this is going to be in there. Hopefully he won't have to fight off any of his customers with it. Right, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. I made the blade is 14C28N, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm not the best at that kind of shit. So all I can say is I got this off Barmond Metals, and guys, they're very helpful for you. When I did my last order, some of the stuff was out of stock and they were really good, and they asked me if I wanted to replace it with something else and things like that. So I definitely give a big shout out to them. So that's the metal the blade was made from. The handle was made from ruby sapele. Apparently it's what people used to use. A couple of my joiner friends have told me that it used to be used for making furniture a lot years ago and stuff. I don't know why it's not now. I really like it. It's got a reddish kind of tint to it, and yeah, so that's what that's made of. There's a little bit of bone in there. Got 3 brass pins in there. 2 are fitting into the tang. One's just like a little vanity pin. I'll pick it up and show you in a second. The guard was actually made out of 1095, a little piece of 1095. Just get into it. Basically, the handle was glued on with Gorilla Glue, which I've used so far. I haven't experimented with a lot of epoxy resins yet, which I'm sure I will, but the Gorilla Glue seems to be really good. It's like fucking hard as fuck. So yes, I sanded it to 3000 grit, and it's kind of like mirror finish, but you probably won't be able to see that on there, and as soon as you fucking touch it, it's not mirror finish anymore. But it was good fun to do, and I looked at my pretty face in it, obviously. There's a little stencil on here. You can see LRF, a Little River Forge. Now I want to give a shout out to JP Designs. You can find them on Instagram. They did me 30 little stencils for £12, which is like super cheap. It took a couple of days for it to come. Very easy guys to deal with. So if you're looking for anything like that, give them a shout. I stuck the stencil on and painted over the gaps with a little bit of ferric acid. Again, I'm not really super confident with that. So I think I did it for about an hour. Probably should have done it longer, or looked into it more and found out how to do it properly, which I will do next time. Okay. The only thing about this that isn't here is usually I get my sheaths made from a guy in Wrexham called Damien. He's got his own shop there called Damien's Traditional Cobblers, and the guy's an artist with leather. If you want your boots fixing or a sheath making, give him the shout. He's the man. Right, I'm going to pick this up now and go through a few of the things. This is what I like to hear. Is like when something goes fucking wrong and you need to fix it. There's a few of the things that, you know, I came along while I did this. Right, okay, so I'm going to pick this up. Move this over a little bit. Right, okay. So, as you can see, on the guard here, we have a guard, then we have a piece of bone, and then the wood. And obviously, you've got 2 brass pins. These are fitted in. This is just like a vanity pin because I fancy doing it, and 3 is the magic number. Right, anyway, so as you can see, this guard has got a bend in it. Now I tried to keep this part here as straight as possible to fit in so I could fit it on properly, that it wouldn't be any jiggle jiggle. Anyway, unfortunately there is a slight bend in it, and what I did was I drilled the handle and the tang before I got this perfectly fitted. Now the problem with that is, as I was trying to sand to compensate for the slight bevel in the guard, I got less and less handle, you know. So I got a bigger and bigger gap. Okay, so that was like obviously a massive pain in the arse. So rooting around, and luckily I found a little piece of antler, cut that to shape, put that on. Again, I could not get that exact shape there. So what I did, I cut a little piece of leather off my belt, and I put a thin piece, you know, when you get like the outer shiny bit. Well, I peeled that away, pushed that in, pushed it down, perfect. Okay, so to seal that so it doesn't feel like leather and is all porous, I just coated that with super glue. That is a tip I got off a friend of mine called John Crane, who makes a lot of like pens and stuff like that with like really highly polished wood. And I got the super glue tip off him ages ago. Inadvertently, he was just in the shop, and I got some info off him. Anyway, so yeah. So the tip from that is, make sure everything's super fitted before you drill your holes. You know, I didn't do it, and it ended up being a massive ball ache, and it took me ages to get it anywhere near. So that's the tip for doing your handle, is that. This is also my first ever burn through handle, which I just thought I'd try it, seen it on the telly and all that stuff. So that was really strange. It took me ages. It smelled beautiful. My son does a lot of barbecuing, smoking meat and stuff like that, and it just reminded me of that. But it did take a long time. I'll admit, I did drill through first. I drilled as far as possible, holding it at the right angle, etc. I didn't have a drill long enough, so I decided to burn through by heating up the tang and pushing it on. Obviously, unfortunately, what happened was you got slightly, you know, there's like quite a lot of wiggle in it. Now, I watched a video last night which could have cured that, because there's a really good way of putting epoxy resin in, which just sticks to the inside of the handle. I'm not going to tell you all about that, because the guy is like a genius. He's a master's bladesmith. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but I'm sure if you search him, he'll come up really top. I'm not going to try and remember his name, right? But I will hopefully in the next video I'll put that right, because he's like super clever guy, and on his video channel takes us all the way through his journey. He's becoming a master bladesmith, super clever guy, real artist, you know. Anyway, so like the burn through, basically what I had to do, I put to pack out that gap a bit when I glued it all together, I just mixed in some sawdust that came out of it, you know. So it went back into the handle, which was you know, always a advantage, you know. Anyway, so that's the handle. The pins, these two, I drilled like slightly too big, so they've got a lot of glue hanging in there, you know. But it's tough, you know. It's hard. It's not going to move anyway, you know. It's all in there. Trying to keep your finger away from that edge because I've not long sharpened it. And ironically, I cut my thumb this morning cutting a tomato for my wife in the kitchen with a kitchen knife. Well done, Nick. What a dickhead. Right. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really chuffed with this shape, this design. I really like this design. I've done a bit of testing on it. It's pretty sharp. On this video, there should be a little clip of me trying to chop wood, and it works. My worst thing was I just hoped it didn't snap, and it didn't, and it chopped the wood. So yeah, basically that's it. So this is Chris Barrett's Bowie. Really enjoyed making it. Took me ages, but that's what it's all about, you know. If we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't do it. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel, like and subscribe and all that stuff. I'll try and keep up with it. Quick shout out for my nephews Tyler and Cody, who've got their own channel, Fun with TJ and Cod, I think it is. And they're always bugging me saying, Papa, why don't you do more videos? So shout out for them. They're fantastic. They do loads of fun videos with the parents. They get green screens up and all that kind of stuff. And really, really good kids. Okay, like all my grandchildren, which I have loads. I've got 5 and 1 on the way. And I only look in my 20s, I can tell. Right, okay, right, I'm going to leave you go. Thank you very much for watching. Don't cut yourself too often. Don't burn yourself too often. But go for it. Really, just try. Enjoy it. I will be doing a video on the tools that I use, because I've got very basic tools. I haven't got anything mega, no power hammers, nothing like that. Very basic tools. So, like I say, I will show you. I'm going to have to stop stroking that blade. I'll show you in another video that you don't need all the latest tools or thousands and thousands of pounds worth of tools. You just need, you know, just some enthusiasm. There's loads of videos on YouTube to watch, loads of stuff. Don't just rely on watching Forged in Fire, because obviously there's big bits they have to miss out because of the constrictions of filming. It's a great program. I love it. That's kind of what made me want to start up. But there's so much more to learn. Go onto YouTube, search for Master Bladesmiths, watch some history. There's a great video on Bob Loveless. Really interesting how he kind of like took things to a different level when he realised collectors were selling his knives for like £5,000 and he was selling them for $200. He was like, hey, fucking hell, what's going on? I'll sell them for that. If you go onto his website now, he died a long time ago, but the business was carried on by his business partner. And they're expensive knives, but they are beautiful. And the stuff you can learn from that is, there's a lot of stuff to learn. Okay guys, I'm just showing you that it does work. It does actually chop your wood, you know. There you go. So, it didn't break.